Hi, we've been talking a lot about the power of experiential learning, and I'd like to take a moment and take you behind the curtain. This is my effort at drawing a curtain, and we will talk about behind the curtain. Because if I were you listening to this, I might ask myself a couple of questions. Boy, that experiential learning, it sounds like it gets an awful lot done. It seems like you're going to accomplish a great deal in a relatively short period of time. It's almost like how is that possible? And I'd like you to understand how, in fact, it is possible. So I'm going to take a moment and share two thoughts with you. The first thought is, if this is the experience that has been created, the next step is to test, to see whether or not it satisfies the criteria that we're looking for. And we change the experience and we test it again. And then we change the experience and we test it again. And as you can see, this probably is going to get repeated a number of times, and in fact it is. Because it is in the testing that we're able to determine, do the metrics work? Do the metrics reflect the true behavior? Is it in fact focusing on the key principles? Is it in fact stripping out all the things that need to be? Do in fact we actually replicate the real world? All the things that the other videos have been talked about are not just embedded in the experience. They come from the testing that goes to create that experience. Because as a provider of an experience, I need to have confidence that there will always be a predictable outcome. That's the power of experiential learning, a predictable outcome. But it comes in the design, as I've said many times, of the test. And this could be a 12-month process to create a new experience. So that's an important component so that it doesn't look like this is some sort of magic thing which happens. Now, the other thing I'd like to share with you up here is, if this represents the experience and a client comes and says, but I have some specific needs that this experience must demonstrate. Some very specific things. Yes, the experience has embedded in it the key principles, but now there needs to be another whole series of tests that relate to the specific needs that you have as an organization. So not only is this testing goes in to create the experience, there's a great deal of testing that must go in to make sure that the experience is relevant to you in your world and the things that are important to you. So when you put these two together, this is, if you would, we could call this sort of off-the-shelf experiential, and you could call this customization. It's the same experience in both cases. This one proven to guarantee the outcome, and this one has been adapted to make sure that your specific outcome occurs. And the reason I think this is so important to go behind the curtain and understand this is to realize that the magic of experiential learning and its power is not something which just happens easily and quickly by accident. It's intentional and it's deliberate, and that is where its power comes from.